Hi, folks. Welcome to one more episode, which is our second episode of our new podcast.
On Time with Doctor and Serge, Logtech podcast.
In this podcast, we're talking about logistics and technology, as we stated at the start of the series. And today, we're going to talk about a topic which is hot topic, which is how the visibility platform in logistics is changing the landscape, right? And are they any good? Are they providing the value what they said they're going to provide, especially the cost they basically incur? If you've seen the news recently, you know all the big names which talks about on the Project 44, RI. I think what else we can think of? I think Flexport and few others are reporting layoffs. So in my view here, before I getting Serge involved in this conversation, is I think visibility of logistics is a problem which needs solving. It is very overstated. Serge here, Serge, who is a champion of logistics. Right. So what's your initial view of this issue of visibility in logistics?
I also think the problem is overrated, and the solution is misleading, actually.
Okay.
So So there's no. Okay. So you're looking at that point that is moving, and you're looking at it, and it's not there because it gets there when it gets there. Yeah. So companies are assuming that they can cut costs on that.
Yeah.
But you have to have a really huge fleet and an opportunity to switch routes. In order to get any payback out of those visibility systems. So, okay, something going on, but you look at that at the screen and you cannot interact. So basically, that's what visibility. Everything is visible. You can see, but you can do nothing. But in order to take action, you have to have capabilities to do so. And I'm just saying that most companies do not have those capabilities.
Right.
Or your cargo is somewhere in Atlantic, it's just drifting slowly to the shore. That's it.
So that's it really, right? No, so to build my business case, I want to go back slightly, and I want to go back with the basic theory of three V's in supply chain, which is velocity, variation, and visibility, right? So our aim here is actually, if you talk about supply chain people, is to increase the visibility, of course, increase the velocity of the supply chain, how we deliver things, reduce the variation. So you have to do whatever the process and moving the goods and delivering the goods and making stuff, shipping stuff, planning stuff, buying stuff. It has to be as standardized as possible, right? So you can reduce costs. So once you improve the velocity, reduce the variation, then you focus on visibility. Because if you really put millions and millions on something and you're paying $3 per container for, again, you're moving from here to here, there is no flipping point because it's still built on a very processes or the supply chain design where the variation is very high and it's very slow. I'll come back to the last mile part anyway, but let's stick to the overall solution providers of visibility. And I see that as a pregnant woman syndrome. Right? If somebody wondering what is pregnant woman syndrome is, without talking, I try to keep my language as professional as possible. It's basically, by the time baby is conceived, by the time it's arrived, there's no variation. It should take 9 months. If the container is shipped out of China on whatever port, it's going to come with the certain nautical miles by the time it's arrived. If you want to make
two ships will sail same time, basically. Yeah, so you can have 3 ships. They will take same time.
Same time as well. Right. With that said, even you increase the speed of the ship, it will maybe come 3 days earlier, 4 days earlier with more fuel cost, of course, but nothing more. But if you're short of stock and you're tracking, what's the point? Because the historical gate-to-gate tracking was pretty good. You know, you put your container number in, on your shipping number in, it will tell you that's your ETA. It has only become a big issue in COVID. It became absolutely massive issue because the container was not available, the shipping time was all over the shop. You know, it was coming after 6 weeks late, 8 weeks late. No one knows when it's coming. So yes, in COVID, the problem was aggravated big time. Therefore, it was a good opportunity to get a high valuation. But now, the things are normal. Actually, UK and Germany and Japan is in recession. They're one of the 3 big global manufacturing companies, one of the biggest economies right now, are in recession. or in general, the world is not so bright place unless you are in Mexico, India, and Saudi. The rest of the world is in a gloomy place. So there is not enough demand. There is a lot of available capacity. So there is no supply issues. There is no delays. So if I know when you're going to ship it and when it's going to arrive, so why would I pay $3 a container, given the fact I'm one of the biggest manufacturers in the world right now and I move 3,000 containers? Am I stupid here? What's the benefit?
No, again, I think it's all buzzword.
Yeah.
So if you can take action, there's the benefit.
Yes.
If you can't, what do you do with that?
Yeah.
So, and especially with downturns,
yeah.
The crucial thing is that to make it cheaper. Yeah. So probably it will take a week more.
Yeah.
But let it be more cost effective.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So, but if you can't choose between two routes, what's the point of having visibility on that?
Yeah.
So probably those things will appear on platforms. They are when you you see some please move my container from that big ship to this smaller ship, so it will take the shortest route. Yeah. But you will pay I don't know, the whole cost of the goods of that container will be paid just for those loads and transfers. So no point. I don't think that anything. It's good. It looks good again on your resume.
Yeah.
It's fun to play with that.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to get up your ass and flew to Morocco and see where is your container. You're sitting by the laptop and it's all nice and clear, and you can give immediate report to your peers oh, I have all the information here. Yeah. And it is not you who pays for all of that. It's just company, paying, and you get all the reports and the visibility. So probably it helps for you to give quick reports. But for the company, there's no benefits. No, and for the customer too.
So that is why if you see the critics report and stuff, those companies are really struggling to hold the value on which they have raised money. They have literally raised hundreds of millions of dollars. Literally, I think in the case of P44, if I remember correctly, they are, I think, around $800 million. A lot of money, right? Okay. But against those things, does even the company worth that much? People argue maybe not. I'm not a VC guy. I don't value the companies. But the question is there. Where is the value? Or how complex of a problem they are solving? Now, with that said, what I don't also understand, why on earth somebody would invest hundreds of millions of dollars? I don't understand. What makes you think? What could be the thought process?
I think those businesses run on promises mostly. That AI will predict some new unexpected, will bring some new unexpected values. Yeah. So, but the problem is that, okay, you now know that this new Barbie doll took this and that time, to travel, but it's gone. So, I mean, next thing will take different routes. And all your predictions are relevant because there will be new goods.
Yeah.
And trying to predict oil, gas, and coal movement across the ocean, again, there's no good for that because it's just what this visibility will give you. But there is a small, at least one thing that adds value. So when you know all the free space in all of that ships, you can put something into that empty space and ship basically for free.
Okay.
So if you're a big freight company or a brand, you can employ that. And there is actually a thing now in US space when shipping costs $0. So there are some brands that are benefited from that because they have this almost free shipping because they employing these small opportunities, empty spaces. But you can move a whole bunch of loads this way. You can never pay that back.
Yeah, but I think I don't want to disregard everything that those companies visibly does. Clearly, there's a problem, but I think the real value is not the problem they promised to solve. Is a value, which is we will do the visibility, of your logistics. I think the real value here is the data they have collected over the period of time, because they have moved so many containers for so many customers from point A to point B that they have enough information that which goods are trading from which to where. Of course, the company customer base they have acquired, of course, available customer base. Anybody for SAP or any big players who is looking for some maybe acquisition, the data is rather more important than the tech they have built, in my view.
Again, that was a promise. So,
yeah, but the data is there, right?
Data is there, but the things are changing constantly. The ships got rebuilt. You were moving grain, now you're moving some parcels, Amazon Prime packaging.
Yeah.
Then all the routes are rerouted because of, I don't know, those piracy or whatever. And that data, as I've said, you know how the Barbie doll moved across the earth last month. But the thing is gone. The new toy will be different. It should move into different parts because here's the recession now, here's an inflation now, and you moved into different parts. So this data just doesn't help you to get to have any good predictions. That's a problem. So maybe there are some, but those predictions will not have these trillions of USD of value to pay back all the investment.
Now, I'm going to move to discuss one more very interesting angle. My argument is rather, so if anybody who pays $3 per container, if you're shipping, more than 2,000 containers a month, is an absolutely rubbish and stupid decision, right? Big claim. And I'm going to repeat myself. Rubbish and stupid decision. And I'll tell you why. Because you can build a same tech by yourself very quickly. How? Ask me how.
Yeah, please.
Right. So there's two big platforms. One is 𝐷rates, opened by, I think, DP World, right? So 𝐷rates have 97 to 98% of the shipments already tracked, because what they've done is they build a tech which is integrated with all the big shipping companies, Maersk, CGL, all that. They're in there, into the platform, right? Hapag Lloyd and all this. So all the containers which is moving, which is, if you think about, there's only 20 biggest shipping lines which moves 95% of the sea, at least sea freight, is in the platform. Okay, and they're also integrating with DHL and UPS, so including the truck part of the road transportation. So they actually have this trackability. So if you're a startup, you want to have your own, let's call it, you're designing a workflow from the documentation, or finding the right freight provider, do the bidding, selecting the freight provider, giving them a job, booking the container, and then tracking the container. And the tracking part can be done through 𝐷rates. And there is a cheap API, you can pay a fraction of the cost, and you can build if you can literally build your own platform to do it. Now, so that's the road and the sea part. What about air freight? So there's a German startup, I forget the name. I think we figured it out and I'm going to mention it to you. They are now doing the same thing of basically air freight. So they have connection with all the air freight. If you do a lot of air freights, you pick your airway bill number. It will tell you this is the flight. It will go from here. It will arrive here. So basically, with just two providers, right, which is 𝐷rates for your for sea freight and the road transport, and the German one, you can create your own visibility and tracking platform.
Yeah. Okay,
which can cost you a fraction of cost.
You're saying that like everybody with a half brain and laptop can run a logistics company, plus with all the visibility, basically for free. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Maybe it's already late because Amazon is becoming the biggest now logistics company in the world. And with this value proposition that we not only move your product, we will also sell it. Yeah, so there's like probably zero companies that promise you not just to move your product, but also get rid of it, like sell it on a platform. So we are waiting, see now at the huge disruption of all the logistics business in this way. And so again, your final goal is just to sell your product, right?
Yeah.
And if shipping company promises you that it will sell it at that specific date, again, you don't need visibility.
Very good point. Very, very good point, actually. Super smart. Now, I want to extend the discussion that you talk about Amazon being the biggest logistics company. I know for a fact that some big logistics providers or freight providers like Maersk have designed the strategy to become the global integrated logistics service provider. That means they want to do whole end-to-end, they call it factory to sofa supply chain. That means they say we're going to pick from, if you're Nike, we're going to take from your factory and we actually going to deliver to your customer, pretty much like Amazon. That means they are building Amazon-like capabilities, right? So they're the biggest, sea freight shipping line. Anyway, they bought the airline for $870 million, I think about 2 years ago. They're strong on road freight and sea freight, and they're buying about 530 warehouse spaces across Europe, basically tripling their existing logistics footprint, right? So again, very much like Amazon to build this warehouse structure. So that is their I think strategy in terms of they call it Maersk Promise. But one of the challenges they have is to again the visibility part. So they call this powered by Maersk, where they're building the whole thing that you can actually, if you're a Maersk customer yourself, even though Maersk is, if you think about Maersk is the investor in P44, pretty much like Microsoft and OpenAI relationship. So they are early investors. But now, if you're a Maersk customer, you can track the whole shipment on Maersk platform, right? So again, why you have to pay? Of course, you need to give the access to your customer, and they can go and track it. Now, with that said, I want to move to the other 2 V's of the 3 V's I mentioned earlier, which is if you talk about visibility and you're not focusing on the velocity part and the variation part, then actually visibility is a redundant problem, right? I mean, yeah, it's going to X amount of time and it's late and you don't have the right inventory. Then what? Can't do much, right? Just give you a better ETA. So I think the focus should be here is to improve the velocity of the whole supply chain. So what makes you think the current visibility tech we have, how it will help to increase the velocity of supply chain?
I'll be frank. The only way to increase velocity with current state of technology is just more manpower.
Okay, explain more.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
No, I mean, you cannot move ships faster. It's like, it's carbon footprint. You should move them slower.
Yeah.
You can't run tracks faster because it will more on the road. So no, let them move slower. So only place where you can speed up things is all this loading, unloading, repacking, all that, yeah? And if there's no smart logistics solution like a 20-foot container where everything is standardized and you do this bulk and break very efficiently because you just take something and it's ready for retailer or delivery, it's all manpower. Mm-hmm. So you need more and more manpower. Amazon is like hugest labor abuser. Or,
careful.
Okay,
careful. We don't want our podcast to be bad.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But you got the point. Yeah. So you need lots of labor. It's not replaced. So throughout the whole supply chain, there are probably some robots there, fewer than fraction of a percent. Everywhere else is just a guy or a girl with a barcode scanner and basically doing the old way.
Right. Now, I want to digress slightly or expand the discussion. We stay on visibility, but move out of the visibility of transportation, let's call it shipping. Let me give you an example to explain where I'm expanding. So once you create your PO, you send the PO to your supplier, right? And you hope they will come back with some order confirmation and with some confirmed delivery dates. Mm-hmm. The good one does, mostly don't, right? Okay, so now the PO is confirmed. It has a PO confirmed delivery date that you wanted in 3 weeks' time. Yeah, we confirm that. But then you just almost living in a black hole and blindsided. You don't know when they're actually going to ship. When the PO date will come and they said, okay, where's my shipment? They said, we'll get back to you. We are late by 4 more days, or we're going to ship you partial. That's your whole planning, which you put into your systems, go out the window. Therefore, the point is, you have no visibility of your suppliers once you place in PO, even though all your inventory planning, production planning, capacity planning, everything is designed based on the availability of material. What was very interesting, as a quick story, when I was supply chain manager in Warwick plant, and we are short of parts, right? We are short of parts, one of the high running. And then we used to do this analysis, daily analysis, we used to call it OTP misline, on-time delivery promise mislines. Means if we have shipped 100 lines and 5 of them we missed through the supplier not availability, 5 of them lack of labor, 5 of them somebody got sick, whatever. So we said, okay, root cause analysis, and we said we're going to solve that, right? Now, once, for example, my team don't have the material, and we're saying we missed lines or did not ship because we don't have raw material. Yeah. And there's a backlog of 2 months. Boom, big delivery arrived, And then we said from next day, we have done our job as supply chain manager is a manufacturing issue. And my manufacturing manager used to say, mate, you have given me a 2 months of backlog. What do you think I'm Houdini? I'm going to make it literally in 24 times of 2 months of backlog. No chance, right? No. I've done my job. When I become manufacturing manager, then I realized he was right. You can have all the parts in supply chain, but you're still not going to produce it because there is a bottleneck in capacity. So if you're not shipping on time, the root cause would be the lack of raw material. You with me so far, right? Now, my question here is this. Have you seen any solutions? Have you seen any ideas where we can increase visibility?
Okay. And you want to know whether are any solutions that can give you visibility into the manufacturing floor, yeah?
Yeah. So basically, your supplier base.
They will be not lying to you, and they will be really telling you that your order is manufactured. Yeah. It is not a technology problem.
Okay.
You can see that immediately. Yeah. Okay. So because it's all contractual, so it's probably there's a point in the contract that tells you how much they will be fined if they miss the date,
right,
or undeliver or whatever,
right.
And of course, by doing that in the contract, you just immediately it is all doomed to the situation where it's under delivered only last minute or when it's already arrived, because there's people there everywhere, yeah, and your guy on the manufacturing floor, you will send you reports, everything is great, whatever, and it's not like they will allow you to put there your video camera, CTV, or your system for, I don't know, scanning barcodes. Although I know that some companies actually do that. They supply hardware on China factories,
right,
and force them to do all the some steps of the manufacturing, packing of the retail packaging, and then packing on the pallet, all that for visibility purposes, actually. Yeah, so they now know that at least they scanned that box. Probably they didn't put the product in the box, but at least they scanned that box. Yeah. They put it in the box somewhere, and then they force them even to scan the loading part.
Yeah.
To be sure that they've picked up the right pallets and put it on the right container, because some of the containers will be traveling other routes. Yeah, so huge retailers, they do that. They actually force Chinese companies, South Asian companies to do some things. They have CCTV, they have scanning on that. And because I have an experience of that. I know it's all, okay, it's the technology there now, but you have 10 people chatting in WhatsApp, in WeChat with guys on the floor there, solving all the small problems that they face with the technology, because it's a kind of automation. When it breaks, you don't have visibility, and there's a technical support involved in that. Like if you have I know, so we were running this project for 200 manufacturing, that doing sneakers, yeah?
Right.
And it's a non-constant technical support in Chinese, or like this half English of helping them to run these things smoothly.
So just to move this is following. I would suggest, I think we picked this visibility problem because for me it was one of the most overstated problems. So if I summarize my key takeaways from this discussion is focus on reducing variation before, and focus on increasing velocity before you spend money on improving visibility, because there's no point of tracking something or tracing something which is a supply chain design built on a high variation of network and very slow. There's no real benefit. So focus on velocity and variation first, I think. And there are tools available, which as I mentioned, few, starting from DC rates, for example, and I'll figure out the German one, which I probably mentioned in the comments, which you can create your own visibility tools. And before you really go and invest and spend thousands of dollars on containers, see how else you can do it, how cheaper you can do it. There's many other solutions available as well. Right. What's your final thoughts?
Okay, so don't get buy-in into some new shiny technology.
Yeah.
Don't be a fool. Yeah, right. Okay, probably it's like kind kind of sad that you were sitting on the warehouse doing some same job, and there, this new shiny technology, everybody's using it, and you just have to get it. Yeah, but probably not a wise thing to do. You should invest probably in yourself, in your own knowledge first.
All right, guys, thank you for watching. This is Muddassir Ahmed, doctor in this episode, as you call it. I'm a founder of SCMDOJO. We have created one of the biggest libraries for supply chain knowledge, and we have one of the best experts. Therefore, we call it, we are a first platform for supply chain knowledge and expert. To follow us, follow me at Muddassirism, follow SCMDOJO at SCMDOJO and most of the sales channels.
Yeah, thanks, Doc.
On time with Doctor and Serge. Logtech Podcast.